Welcome back, beautiful souls, to another episode on DinsTalk. And I'm so excited for my today's guest. And I'm also really, really excited about the conversation that is about to unfold. Because when we had our brief talk offline, that we should have already recorded at that time, it was just fire and absolutely a message that I needed to hear at that time. It just completely shifted my energy so much. And I'm forever grateful for this. However, before we go into this, I would like to introduce Nicole because she has such a beautiful background, so much essence to her soul, and I just don't want to miss anything of that. So that's why I'm introducing her as she deserves. Nicole is a transformational leadership mentor, vocal alchemist, and former clinical microbiologist who helps mission driven leaders and entrepreneurs build businesses, brands, and movements from their unique blueprint without compromising who they are or what matters most. I love that. We're going to go into that for sure because it's a big thing. After spending nearly 2 decades working in clinical microbiology, Nicole followed a very different calling into the transformational leadership space. Today, her work begins or brings together the body, voice, frequency, spiritual discernment, business energetics, and embodied leadership to help people connect more deeply to who they are, access their own wisdom and gifts, and become the leaders their mission requires. So, love that. And at the heart of Nicole's work is the belief that greater wealth and impact should not require greater self abandonment. Through her divine blueprint work and transformational experiences, she helps leaders recognize where they have been diluting their voice, overriding themselves, or trying to build according to models that were never designed for them. I can totally relate to that. Her work invites people to lead, create, serve, and build from who they truly are so they can steward meaningful success while staying connected to their relationships, well being, integrity, freedom, and what matters most. Wow. Welcome, Nicole. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And we connected through a community, Regan Hill. Yeah. Love that. I'm so happy for our connection and welcome, welcome, welcome to the space. Thank you for taking this time and sharing the beautiful energy with us.
Thank you for inviting me. And I got to tell you, when you were like reading that and I was feeling that in my body, and I was like, God, that was been such a journey to embody everything that you just said, like the journey to get where I am today. And it's not easy. So that's like why I love getting on shows like this to share the story of the journey from right the dark to the light, from lows to highs and everything in between. And not to bypass those parts, those contractions that we can often get in.
Mm. I love that. And the parts that, of course, I love everything you do. And I would love for you to start from the beginning because we share a similar story with being very connected to the spiritual realm from an early age, very open, naturally very open, and but also how that developed then into, I love, and I know we go deeper into this, and I like to pack like 3 questions in one, so sorry about that. But my listeners are used to
I'm
this.
gonna follow you.
You can follow me. I know you can pick it up. But also I really love the point, again, to point that out, that you really help people to work with their divine, unique blueprint. That sounds like mellow honey, going down my throat. It's really, really amazing because, yeah. So let's go first to where it all started and then how obviously this became your framework, your method.
Yeah. So while I was little, I was gifted. I grew up in a Catholic background, right? So my mom spoke tongues, my sister spoke tongues, but we were raised Catholic. So it wasn't like we did anything else with that, but just deem it as tongues. And I had a lot of other gifts coming online. But, the way you're raised in Catholicism is you can get possessed. It's the work of the devil. You know what I mean? Anything to question like that. So there was a big fear around my gifts, and I would often suppress it. I would find myself singing like I'm in an opera in the shower, like these angelic tones to soothe myself, making weird sounds, dancing always. I was always doing gymnastics and dancing. That was like moving my body was like therapy for me. And it was so natural where other people like they'd have to force themselves to do certain things. I could sing naturally and I could move my body. And that's how I moved through heavy energies also within my family. I now realize that as I'm saying this to you, it was just always the movement and the making of sounds that got me through my days. Fast forward that as I was growing up, there was so many cycles of like God inviting me to step it up where I didn't. And I would get very, very sick physically. My body would shut down on me. I was diagnosed with trigeminal neuralgia, had tons of head pains, body pains, mystery illnesses where, I would go to the doctors and they would just put diagnoses on it, but it was never really it. And I could feel it in my bones, right? And so as I was coming into my mid 30s, I'm 48 now, I had a massive spiritual awakening. Like it was like, you need to live in your gifts. You've been repressing them since you were little. You need to come out and lead in these gifts. And that meant leaving my marriage. I had 2 kids, little kids at the time, starting all over. I mean, it was the scariest thing that I was invited to do, but it was the calling for me to come back to who I truly was and to stop compromising and abandoning myself. Because the life that I really wanted deep down inside was not the life that I created. And my body was getting sick in that marriage. My body was getting sick in the profession as a microbiologist. And I had to step out of that reality and I had to come into my gifts. And so the path of yoga is actually what helped me get out of my marriage and start having the confidence to follow this path because I didn't feel so alone. Because all I knew before that was, my unique spiritual gifts, but I wasn't putting myself in rooms and spaces, right, where there were spiritual people and mentors that could evolve me. I was in the closet, as you would say, but like a natural, gifted, intuitive. So as I came out of the closet and I started going to yoga, everything started opening up. Like you can say it's a Kundalini awakening. The energy blocks started moving and I had all this energy and my gifts were coming onto a whole new level. And fast forward, I was being called to be put into service, like at a rapid rate. So when I say, like, don't worry about your age when you get that remembrance and it comes online, when God's like, nope, it's go time, it's show time, you're ready for service and impact, you can think like, I'm not ready, but it's creating the right terrain in your body, the right frequency in your body, and putting yourself in the right rooms that accelerate the process for you to remember even more. So that went on to a very quick remembrance of sound healing, and me learning how to play the harmonium. I won't even say learning how to play the harmonium. The harmonium was gifted to me, and so were singing bowls. And all those songs that I was singing my whole life, I started singing again and again and again, and I was healing myself. But my community of all like my friends from yoga and stuff, they're like, oh my gosh, like you need to do events. Like you need to have people coming to this. Like this is crazy. Like I've attended sound baths, I've attended other yoga classes and other things. There's nothing like this because it was my innate and it was my unique blueprint. And it was how I was designed to live and lead, which was much different than traditional mainstream practices. But yoga nada, the sound of yoga, and regular yoga asana practices were a foundational place for me to remember more of my unique blueprint of how I was going to take some of those things and lead the way I was designed to. So as that was all happening, I transitioned out of my job as a microbiologist and I took the leap. I took the leap. I left my husband, my ex-husband, and I followed my soul's calling. And I'm like, don't want to jump all around, but then I met my soulmate. I'm remarried now to my new husband, and he came to my Shakti Flow class. That's actually how we met. So it was a series of events of following my truth to really have the courage to dismantle the life that I created from abandoning myself into a new life. But that was only one step of the journey, Mia. Because once you get into the entrepreneurial world, that's when I started abandoning myself again. And I went through the same vicious cycle of another spiritual awakening. And I think that's what's the juiciest part of the message that I want to say to today, is because it doesn't stop. Like at every level, we have to like really pay attention to where we compromise ourselves in pursuit of happiness, of health, of money, of success. And we really need to stay true to ourselves.
I love this. I have like three like deeper like going back, circling back to
Yeah,
things.
yeah. I know that was a mouthful. It was a
It's
mouthful.
good. I love it. It's a beautiful flow. Everyone will love it because I just, yeah, it's very natural. And there's one thing I wanted to come back to is when you said like it was your natural ability because you never took any sound bath healing classes or anything like that. To I love that because I have the same approach. Everything I do is channeled and just it's just natural. I never, yeah, sure. There are like mentors coming on the way and you pick up little few things, and I just like anything about tapping into the body, channeling, being medium, intuitive is natural to me. And it's like I don't even need a class. I just like something is shown or read one time and it's just like as a remembrance. After that, there's a, red tail happening and there's like an avalanche coming when it's natural. And I just wanted to also reflect on my own experience. And I'm sure you may have had this as well, being then out there, being entrepreneurial, like then often I was like thinking, oh my gosh, I don't have a certificate, like certificate to do that. Or I have joined that mentor or did a 6 weeks course here and things like that. I don't want to downgrade that. It's great. But sometimes I feel that people actually force to become we all are channels. We all are open, right? We all have access to that. But not every, I don't believe that everybody's meant to be working as an intuitive or a channel. I feel like that there are some people just naturally gifted and they just do it. And well, I think it's just my own experience, my own. I feel like some people really force it, and then I sit there and like I can't receive anything. I'm like, yeah. So I'm not. Like, what's your opinion on that?
Oh my God, Mia, I am so happy that you opened this up because I have so much to say about this.
Yes, let's
First,
go dive in.
So first of all, I want to say that I did take a yoga teacher training because I was guided to teach classes. And in order to teach the classes, I had to have a certificate and insurance. But that means I took that certificate and I wove into it my unique modality. I actually called it fusion. I had two classes, one called fusion and one called Shakti flow. So I did get the training, but that was after I already knew it was natural. That was just the technicalities. And along my journey of sound, vibration, and frequency, like I'm a natural geek, I'm a scientist, that's my background. So I want to learn. So I had all these natural things coming online, but then I would Google stuff or get books or take courses and take programs, not because I needed it to prove my worth, but because I wanted to go deeper with what was coming through. So when I did do that, I blew my mind because in some of the places, yes, it expanded me and it built on what I already knew. And in some of them, I was like, wow, I was already channeling all this information. How tapped in am I? I started to trust my channel in a whole new way. And I just want to share one of these stories is when before I even got into yoga and kirtan and chanting and mantras, I was channeling Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. I had no idea what that meant. I had no idea about Ganesha or any of that because, like I told you, I came from a Catholic background. So I Googled it, and it was a mantra to help you remove blockages in your life and open up doors for new beginnings. And I was like, this is exactly what I'm going through, and here it is, it's coming in. And so then as the mantras naturally came in as a remembrance for me, I would trust the ones that came in. It wasn't something that a teacher gifted to me, it was something that God, a higher power source, whatever you want to call it, gifted me, and I started using it. Now, when you say that there's so many of us that are gifted intuitives and channels, right? And then there's people that are taking the courses of like how to how to be a psychic, how to channel, how to do this, how to do that. And there is a difference, I think. I think, first of all, we're all healers and we all have natural abilities. But when we're doing things that are not aligned with our unique blueprint, there's not a charge. Like you don't feel it, right? Like when we're talking, those who are listening, you're probably feeling the visceral sensations and like the excitement in your body because it's real and it's palpable. When it's like forced and you're putting into structure and people are just like cookie cutters and copying each other based on structures they've learned because they're scared to go outside of the box, it feels limited. It feels confined. It feels off. And then there are other people that are facilitating, and they're not facilitating from safe spaces. They're totally ungrounded. They're tapped in as intuitives and vessels and channels. They have natural abilities, but they're lacking the structure to create safety and actually movement in the 3D realm. And so I see this is part of why I help gifted people that are natural intuitives, natural high level leaders of light that are so unique, that are meant to live and build from their blueprint to do it in a balanced feminine and masculine way, because the world isn't really set up for people like us, right? Like it's either too structured or too woo woo, like too out there where you're not grounded and you're not building the wealth and the impact in the 3D. And so I see this all the time. So many gifted, powerful hearts with such a message, such a movement, but they're not anchored in their body and they're not building the solid structures in their business the way they're designed to. Right? They're trying to follow the marketing gurus and other entrepreneurs that have made the wealth, have made the impact, because it's like more of a chasing outside themselves. Oh, they'll have the answers. I'll go there. And maybe that person is energetically tapped in and a little bit spiritual. But when you get into those spaces, you can start taking on the identities of the practitioners, of the facilitators, because let's be real, we're highly sensitive beings and empaths. And before you know it, you're like, oh my God, everybody in the container is using the same language as the coach or the facilitator. Everybody's trying to say the same thing. Everybody's on this tangent. And then you're like, wait, where the fuck am I? What am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Right? So you need to find somebody that keeps you in integrity with who you are and your gifts naturally to emerge. That's what I call this divine blueprint technology that I have. And we work through it through frequency. And then we build the structures for how you're meant to build your wealth and impact. And so then when we do that as a collective, right, we're showing people that it is possible to be unique, authentic, and wealthy in all areas of your life using your gifts. Like we don't have to be starving artists.
It's very powerful. I absolutely, I love this because yeah, I have been many times in those spaces, and then I felt I'm wrong, I'm off. I need to do something I got always pulled back into some old belief systems and the infiltration of conditioning. So yeah, and there's always something coming through. As I said, like it never stops. We will always get challenged, and to see it as a gift for cleansing. Okay, and then to decide, is that my highest path, that aligned with my soul blueprint, or is that just some old conditioning coming through? So that is when you really start reflecting and being tuned in. Now I remember you told me offline there was this one story you said, like when you actually left your career as a microbiologist, you left your first marriage at the time as well, and then you got guided to do what? Because most people, like, obviously you are, there's financial pressure, then also there was something happening with your living situation. Just tell us about that and what you actually did.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
amazing.
So actually, this is a second stage of the awakening. So this happened with my second husband. So I left my job as a microbiologist. This is really important, guys. This is a really good teaching. I was actually talking to my husband about this morning, that I wanted to share this. So I'm glad that you brought this up. So I left my job as a microbiologist. I started teaching and started building my online business. So I was in person and online globally. and money was just coming in. Like, I mean, like, you couldn't make this shit up. I was living in my unique blueprint. I was honoring my authenticity, and I had more clients than I knew what to do with, but I was burnt out. And you want to know why I was burnt out? Because I didn't heal the foundation that I was building from when I did my leadership role in microbiology. I was like the head leadership microbiologist at the hospital. So I had some overgiving tendencies, overdoing, overthink, all of these things, like always taking it to the highest standard to the point where I was burning myself out. So I was doing the same thing with my new clients because I never cleaned up the overgiving and the people pleasing and the overdoing, right? And so I said to my husband, I go, I can't do this anymore. Something needs to change in my business. I need to scale it. Like, I don't know what to do. Okay. So from that point on, when all that money was coming in, that was just me honoring the way I was designed and guided. But what was blocking me and burning me out was the way I was operating, right? From the inside out. So that's when I decided to hire my first business coach. Okay. And I spent a shit ton of money on my first business coach. And then my husband lost his job. And then the house that we were renting, the landlord wanted to move back into it. And so we literally had a month to find a new place. Okay. And to do all of this stuff. And I was like, you know what? I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know where we're going to find a place because there was like nothing. So we found a place. We moved into the place. I started taking the program. I started making money back. It took my husband months to find a job. Then, right before that, I was guided to go on vacation, to like basically go on vacation for weeks to Florida and travel up the coast of Florida, the east and the west, to do grid work. That's another side tangent. I do grid work. So I went on vacation and I'm like, I don't, I felt guilty, right? I felt guilty. I'm like, this makes no sense. Like, my husband doesn't have a job right now, and I'm sitting here and I need to like make more money. Like, I stopped taking one-on-one clients. I was guided to stop taking clients and to just continue this like group coaching program that I was in and just take care of myself. And as I was doing that, I came back and I got an application from someone that I used to work with. It was the wife of a client, a man that I worked with for several years, and she wanted to work with me. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I can take this client on right now. Is this like the right thing? Like, I've been on break. You've been telling me to nourish, to reset myself, to create the space. And it was like, yes, you're going to take this client. And I was like, well, okay, how much am I going to charge? Because I always consult with spirit, like, how much am I going to charge? I don't go by like my head. I go and I test the numbers in my heart. So I got $55,000. And I was like, what? Like, the highest I've ever charged for a container was $25,000 at that point. And I got $55,000. I'm like, no fucking way. Like, I didn't even charge her husband that much. It was like $55,000. And so I was testing the numbers. I couldn't go higher and I couldn't go lower. The 55 sat right in my heart. If I went a dollar over, it felt contracted. If I went a dollar less, it felt contracted. And so, I actually was asking my intuitive friends and people, I'm like, this is crazy. And they're like, no, Nicole, that's the number. I feel it too. And I was like, yeah, I feel it. And I'm like, okay, well, I have to do this. And I kept praying on it. It was like, you were expanding your capacity. That's like the message I was getting. You went away to the ocean to reset. And when I was going to the ocean, I was also learning my Build Your Brand Blueprint technology, which was how I attracted this client. So I was resetting, but I was journaling every day and I was tapping in to who I really wanted to serve, my unique blueprint, what this next role of my mission, this next iteration of my mission looked like. I was tapping into all of that at the ocean. Like, that was gifted to me, and it was creating new flow and capacity, and it was clearing my field of like the old patterns that I was telling you that I took with me into my business from being a microbiologist. So the ocean and the grid work I was doing was clearing all of that out. And I was getting such deep insights during this restoration period, which so many people never restore. Most people would not take that long off to just go travel and not bring in any money. Like, I did not know how I was going to pay my bills, guys. It was to the point where I was like, this is downright like stupid right now. To anybody else, this is like downright insane. But God had the higher vision. God knew I was going to lock in this $55,000 deal as soon as I got home. And I didn't. I didn't know that, right? So most people, let's be real, would probably stay at home if their financial bank accounts were dwindling and be like, I got to get a job. I got to get a job. Oh my God, I got to do something. I got to hustle. I got to put a program out there. I got to put a master class out there. I got to charge this. I got to bring some money in right now. And no, my guidance was go to Florida, go basically on vacation. So anyways, I wound up telling the woman $55,000. And she's like, sure, no problem. Do you want me to wire that to you? It was the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. And I was like sitting there thinking, oh my God, when I was charging 5, 10, 15, 25,000, sometimes those calls were like pulling teeth with people, like having to convince them, having to like feel like I had to promise them like the world for them to even move the needle, even for like $500 like courses. People would like be hesitant back and forth. And it was like, oh my God, like I really cleared so much of that out, because here I am after this and somebody's just handing me 55,000. And that blew my mind. And then, Mia, you wouldn't even believe it. Then it was a $25,000 client, then a $15,000 client. And within 7 weeks, it was like $90,000 came in. So it wasn't even just the 55,000. That is not the traditional way to live and lead and build wealth, right? It's
But I
not.
love it. I love it.
And it's downright fucking scary. But let me tell you, I was rewarded for my patience, my devotion, and my diligence to following God's word and guidance. I trusted him and I trusted myself to trust him. Now, you don't have to say God. I know some people are weird about the language God. I love my relationship with God, so I'm going to use the word God.
Same, 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 same.
Okay. And I will tell you, I've been in another season recently. And so I reflect back on that season. Like I'm in a season right now, like so many of us, right? Like a recalibration season of changing my business model because I've evolved, changing who I'm serving and how I want to lead and how I want to earn. And it never stops. And so we have to look back on our relationship from the past with the choices that we've made, right? And where we could lean more into the discomfort and not give up too soon. And that's a message I want to say to you today. Lean into the discomfort, go into the darkness, see what is there for you, what wisdom is there for you, and open your eyes and your heart and your ears to listen to God's word. And if you can't hear God, if it feels quiet, guess what? He didn't abandon you. It's just time for you to rest more. And so you're not getting the answers to do. Like, what's my next step? What can I create to bring money in? What can I create to bring that partner in? What can I create to get that home? If you're not hearing anything and it feels like it's flat, it's because you need to love yourself more. You need to trust yourself more and you need to rest and actually surrender, like let go, like actually let go. Don't grip. Because when we're gripping, how can we receive? You only receive when your hands are open, right? So if we're gripping and we're so tight and we're like hanging on for our dear lives, it's like, can you really let go? And then the more you let go, you're going to hear the clarity. And so I often hear so many of my clients, they're like, okay, I'm doing it. I'm doing the practices. I'm doing my spiritual practices. I'm disciplined. I'm devoted. I'm going up, 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 up. then they hit a wall, they hit a crisis, right? Like some shit goes down in their life and then they start spiraling out and they're like, I was doing all this and now it's like a shit show and I feel like I'm going down, 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 like downward spiral. And it's like, no, this is where it gets good. This is the test. This is the initiation. This is now where you put all of those skills to use when you're in the storm and you lean in even more and you trust even more that God is going to provide. Those provisions are going to come. But how long are you willing to listen? How long are you willing to trust? Now, guys, this doesn't mean being reckless. Some of us will be called not to get a job, right? And to stay the course. And things like what happened to me happened because that's my divine blueprint. Like I had to learn how to flow money in a big way. And part of it was asking for it and owning it. Like before, I didn't have the courage to ask. Like I didn't even know you could make that kind of money. Like doing this. I didn't. I thought that wasn't for everyone, right? But that was part of my lesson. But some of us will be called to get jobs temporarily to support ourselves. And I feel like that's a big thing happening right now at this time is so many leaders who were making money or that are following their soul's calling are hitting that dip in their business because they're being called to evaluate and get in right relationship with who they really are, what they really want to create, their worth, asking for and building the structures that are sustainable for them in their lives. And so I see it across the board. It's like a clearing of distortions right now of things that are shaking your foundation that would make what you build fall apart, right? It wouldn't be sustainable. So we're having to clean that up right now.
Big time. It was 30, like 3-3 on the timer. When you said that, I was like, big time. I can so.
I'm totally saying so much right now. So I hope it's not overwhelming to everyone.
No, absolutely not. It's perfect, beautiful, and a message everyone needs to hear. And I needed to hear that, of course, as well, because I am in this complete, yeah, like crumbling recalibration phase. And last time we spoke, I just came out of a sacred pause. Then I got called back to a 48-hour silent retreat, which I gifted myself to my birthday. Just literally when I like literally nothing, like not even frequency music on, nothing, no devices, nothing, just pen, paper, me some movement, ocean, and it was not pretty. I had to clear some stuff, but I knew that this accelerated the process, and that was really about the self worth and love and these kind of things. Like really powerful. And it's interesting. I actually do, my relationship with God is the priority. And then I asked God, okay, because I'm in a very financial peculiar situation, like I mean, emergency, like I have to leave the country in 9 days, 8 days, 7 days, something like that. And I had no clients since 2 months and things like that. And I was already slowing down, right? And we spoke last time with the prolonged bleeding. So I was slowing down and my phone broke. Now, even my communication on the laptop, the WhatsApp stopped working. It's so interesting. And I was like so calm in these moments. It's funny, people would usually freak out. And I also have had no finances to repair anything just yet, whatever. And I was like, okay, great. What is this teaching me? Because it's obviously God's interference to really, really stop me from constantly being available or doing things. And I actually asked the question. I said, God, if you want me to get a job, if you really, really want me to get a job, if that is because it comes back, but I was never sure of, is that my old conditioning or is it really what I want to do? And every single time I feel like, oh my gosh, it's heavy to even apply. It feels like, no, what a waste. And then of course guilt comes in, like, oh my gosh, man, are you lazy? Other people working out there, what's going, all these like sabotaging patterns. Anyway, cut a long story short, I asked very specific. I said, I need you to show me the word job in red writing today. If I see it, I'm gonna apply. This is my focus. It's gonna be my focus. Absolutely, I will devote myself, and I'm absolutely okay with that. I will do whatever you have planned for me, not what Mia has planned, because it's very limited. It never showed up on that day, never did. And then, of course, now people, yeah, I'm tuned. I'm trusting that absolutely. Then I was like, okay, God, but then please show me what else I need to do. And I just got guided to do something very uncomfortable. I had to actually ask my family and friends for just right now, for this little period, for support, just so I can get out of it. It was not something I really wanted to do. It's like something some people really have trouble with that. I cried so much to even asking them to even like ask for help. And that was really powerful because that needed to happen, because that was the exact thing that I avoided, because it came through my meditation since a while, couple of weeks. I could have saved me some, a little bit of trouble there. But I was thinking, that's just who am I to ask for this? Like they are. So I just wanted to share that. And I share that very openly and very vulnerable. And there was a lot of shame and guilt, but that was my way of clearing and releasing, because I'm always giving in energy and love. And if I had millions, of course, and I will give in that way too, when people need resources, always. But I never ask, really, truly. So
Yeah, I think that is so beautiful. And actually, this is actually the exact topic we just did in day 20 of my 22-day wealth portal program. And it was, you say you want more, but are you really open to receiving, right? Like, are you really open to it? And so many people, like, this is such a gift, this space that God gave you, because you had to come to the point where you had to ask and move through that shame and that guilt and fear of people not seeing you strong, and people seeing that you're struggling, people seeing that you're not making it the way that you thought you were going to make it right now, right? Like seeing you in a different light than you wanted to see. But also, when we ask people sometimes for help, we don't want to feel like a burden on others, like, right? And then automatically it goes, oh, I'm going to pay you back, I'm going to get it back to you. And like, but sometimes we have to actually be open to just receive without having to worry about giving it back. And that's something that I've noticed, right? Because as givers, we're constantly giving, 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 giving. And sometimes the abundance comes not through like the fact that you're putting together an offering, right? And you're going to have people in. Sometimes it's going to come through family. Sometimes it's going to come through a check randomly from the IRS or something in the mail, right? Like it's going to come in different forms. And I don't think that we always, as long as we're always giving, we're giving people, we have to be able to receive without the attachments and the expectations, with like putting pressure to get it back to somebody right away. Just knowing with our intentions that we will have the resources to give back in the ways that we're supposed to give back. Because I've noticed that that can cause us to go back into gripping and blocking the receiving even more. It's like, let that money come in and let that from your family ease your nervous system, feel really comfortable and loved and nourished in that receiving, and that they were actually had the money to help you out, that you could actually get that, because some people don't even have family or friends that could give to them, right? So take that. This is for all of us. When we actually get that burst, like take it, and with gratitude, don't feel guilty and shameful, truly receive it. And then you open up your receptivity channels to receive even more. But that's part of the lesson for so many of us that are not here to get jobs, that are here for a paradigm shift, is we have to learn how to truly receive without guilt, shame, and punishment. It's
I
so
can feel
important.
that. Makes me really teary as well, because I love the you said about like this instant feeling of I pay you back, and I could feel that as well, even to one of my brothers, and whoever is listening to this, they know. Thank you, beautiful souls. Honestly, thank you. I am forever grateful. It's just amazing. And what it was showing me as well, how many people are actually willing to help, like how many people I actually know who just didn't even hesitate, who just said, I will give you my, no worries, don't worry about the timing, whatever. Like just it was like overwhelming. It was like, wow. I was like, whoa, this is like incredible. I never like, yeah, it just God wanted me to really, really feel that. And like just to tell people, it was not pretty before. Like yesterday I had a complete, like, it was interesting. It was preparing me for this, was emptying my vessel. I was crying nonstop. I was like, what is going on? And there were lots of little things. Of course, my nervous system was also on the edge, and things and worries. And I'm a human, and trying to make things work. Then I had also very beautiful but also confronting, honest conversation with my soulmate, with my partner, and we are apart at the moment, right? And so that was like, I was in the moment, I was calm, but then it just like I felt, whoa, there was a lot to alchemize
Yeah.
and old patterns coming up, but very beautiful. It was honest. I've never had a relationship where I could be so raw and honest and in just expressing, and it's just so powerful. But it also means you hear things like, "Ooh," and then old patterns show up, and how beautiful. Today I realized God gave me that gift yesterday to come. That was a speedy clearance. It was like, Mia, you need to move fast. You need to move fast. So he made it really, really, really uncomfortable for me yesterday. And all I knew was to let it happen. I had lots of things on my list, lots of things. Oh my gosh, this. But I just had to let it happen and do all the, use the tools that I got given to do with the movement, with breath work, nature, whatever. Just let it happen. Just wanted to say that. So it was not pretty,
No,
but
and
beautiful.
that's really powerful. And that's why we have to lean into that contraction. That's like, that is the key to the expansion, right? Not to like be like, I want to move out of the contraction. Like you leaned in, you had no choice. Like the circumstances that were provided for you and for so many of us in our lives right now, right? When we're in it and everything feels like it's crumbling, is to force us to lean into the contraction so we can confront the things and the ways of living and thinking and being that are blocking us from actually receiving more so we can actually like have more. It's not a punishment when our world is crumbling. It's actually, especially if we have faith and we keep going, it's like, no, these are the things to have you to receive more. And for me, like you asking, I think this is so important. So many of us are good at giving and putting things out there, but we don't directly ask. Have a problem with directly being forward, especially like, let's just say you're an entrepreneur, right? And you're putting yourself online. People just like put that call to action like a little bit at the end, or they over explain before they do a call to action and an invitation. I think we need to know our worth more and get better at asking. Like look at the two examples, guys. If you're watching this show, this is so huge right now. I asked for the 55,000. Was I uncomfortable? I thought she was going to say no. Like I was like, who, like, I'm like, but I'm going to just ask because that was the guidance I got. You have to ask and don't over explain. Just tell her what it is directly. Don't over explain. Just say, this is what it is. And she said, yes. Mia was so fucking uncomfortable and asking. And don't, I mean, I went through with the 55,000. Who the fuck do I think I am doing this? Like, no, who the fuck does this? Like, I would think somebody was crazy saying that to me. I actually, my coach, when she told me she charged 90,000, I thought she was batshit crazy. Right? So, I mean, I think this is a huge lesson, guys. If you're in it and you're crumbling, where are you not asking? Where are you not asking for help out of shame and trying to be strong, right? Where are you still gripping? Or where are you asking for help, but you're not really receiving it fully?
Powerful, very powerful. Yeah. And I just realized as well, because I got a little bit edgy on the weekend, I couldn't even receive a small gift from, I do house sitting here at the moment, and they were leaving to Brisbane. And because they, like Kate knew, beautiful soul, that my birthday is coming up. So she wrapped up something very small. And they were already like super helpful to me anyways, and she wanted to just open it on your birthday, and I was like, no, I can't, don't do that, I can't have that, you did already so much, it was like my initial like pushing away, and I was like, oh, there's something bubbling up. And then I couldn't even receive beautiful words from my partner that he wrote to me, or a message, and I was like, I can't really receive that right now. I was like, oh, what is going on? So I knew I could feel things bubbling, and because when you're aware, then when these small things I cannot receive, how am I supposed to receive 1,000, 2,000, 10K, whatever client, right? That's impossible because it's all connected. Mm.
You just like blew my mind and connected a thread. Think about this, guys. When we're so occupied in lack and worry and fear of what's happening, we can't see and receive the blessings that are already around us, right? So, like, you were being blessed up, but you couldn't fully receive it because you were in it thinking about how you were going to live, how you're going to get out of the country, how all of these things are happening, right? But we're all like that. We're praying for the solution. We're praying for the direction. We're praying for more blessings. We're praying to receive. But God's like, are you even receiving and noticing the little things day to day and the people that love you and care for you? Are you even fully receiving that? Fully receive that first and appreciate that with the frequency of gratitude. And I will give you more. I will fill your cup in ways that have never been filled before. Ooh, got chills.
Yeah, it's true. I get it too. Yeah. Yeah. And here I was, right? I am, usually I have my gratitude every day and I do these things, but this was showing me you're full of shit, Mia, right now. And I mean that. I was not pretending, but I was full of stuff, of lack, of worry. My nervous system, ooh, super fried, super on the edge, like really lots of things. So that was good because it was very subtle, it was sneaky, and it was piling up, piling up, piling up, piling up. And yes, and that's why also the communication, all the tools that I usually have to distract, to overgive, were cut down. And even when I came out of my, was it to say, pause, I can't remember. And even then, when I was just responding to people, they're not even clients yet, as simply overgiving in voice messages, and immediately my body would shut down. I was like, thank you. Because it's calibrated that way. I always pray to please shut me down if I'm doing anything that is not aligned with my highest frequency and is limiting me.
Hence your phone and WhatsApp breaking.
Yes. Right. Yes. And as I said, I was actually really calm because it's like, okay, thank you, God. I know I'm so stubborn. You designed me that way. I always say I serve as entertainment, personal entertainment, because I'm so stubborn. But it's beautiful to see. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful to see. It doesn't have to be traumatic always like that. No, it doesn't. Because when you
No,
tune in, I mean, now you can talk about that, right? When you hear the whispers before that, then yeah.
such an important message, guys. When you hear the whispers, don't wait for months or even years to act on the whispers, because if you wait too long, it is going to be like a big shakeup. Like the mystery illnesses, the not being able to get out of bed, full body shutdowns. Like this happens to so many of us, or the relationships just ending so abruptly and so fast, being stripped away. But I think too, it's important if you're going through a stripping in your life. I think that there's something so powerful about that in character building when it does happen, to show you that you will always be able to rebuild. You will always find a way. And I really like the seasons where I have had to rebuild my life. Looking back on it, I wouldn't be who I am right now. I wouldn't have all the stories or the embodied wisdom. Not saying that that's how you have to go about your mission. I'm just saying the times that I didn't listen right away or I stayed longer in situations, they came with consequences. But regardless, I'm okay. So regardless, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. We're all going to be okay.
Mhm. We are. And what was you said like before with the mystery illnesses, and obviously when you were not in the job that you outgrew that. Obviously you were meant to be a microbiologist for that time, but obviously you outgrew that and you weren't listening to the whispers, I suppose, at that time that much, or was a lot of conditioning happening. And marriage, the first marriage that you were in, it wasn't in alignment. So how was that showing up in your body? Like obviously you got completely slowed down.
I had that, and I also had my gallbladder out. And if you know anything about your gallbladder, that's like pent up anger and rage and like frustration, right? And indecision. Like that organ holds a lot of indecisiveness. And I felt like not only with the neurological symptoms I had tons of digestive issues going on. My stomach was bloated. I could like it was like I couldn't eat anything. Then I had this gallbladder stuff. And I also had some acid reflux. Like I was a mess with my digestive tract. And because I couldn't digest and assimilate my life, there was so much energy that was out of alignment that people don't realize it's not even just what we're eating, it's the energy around us that we're trying to assimilate and process. And if you're in environments that are just not in alignment with who you are, so it was my work environment, my marriage environment, friends, things that I had lack of boundaries. I was always indecisive because I was trying to people please everyone. So I was living more for others than myself. So all my systems of my body got compromised. And so did my health. And so that is such a huge part of my work. So we talk about the fact that, yes, I was a microbiologist. I did study science for so many years because I use it in my programs to this day. How I get you to access your unique blueprint is we work with frequency and the organs in your body. We work with the body to help you release the trauma, but also activate the gifts and the wisdom that is stored in the marrow of your bones, in your fascia. We get the lymphatic system going so that you can conduct more electricity and be more magnetic. So everything that I've moved through became part of my blueprint of teachings, because it's not like, how do you access your unique blueprint, Nicole? Like, right? How do you access it? Well, that's my gift. I connect you to your body, to your soul through the power of frequency, your voice, and movement, and then soul writing. I've built blueprints and systems in my work where I help you ask the deep questions that reveal who you're here to serve, how you're supposed to serve, how much you're supposed to charge, how you're supposed to market. And so we do all of that in my 7-day blueprint accelerator, which is something that I want to give to everybody here as a discount for 25% off. That and the 22-day wealth portal. I think those are two really powerful things for all entrepreneurs, leaders, artists, facilitators, creatives that are here with next level gifts to build in a new way. Those two programs are for you. And Mia, I'll give her the discount code so you can have it. And you can just put in the code at checkout. But there's a science behind it, right? Because what good is it if I'm just giving you templates to follow that aren't you? So
Hmm.
this is how we connect you to the templates that are your unique divine design, so that your health, your body's on board. It's like, finally she's listening to me. Your soul's like, finally she's listening to me. You're connected to God. You're moving every single day in a new way, and you're building from that place. And then when that next evolution comes, you know how to do it again and again and again. It's like you keep coming back to yourself in new ways.
Yay, guys! I can't wait. I want to sign up. So bring in the abundance so I can do that. Would be
Yeah.
amazing. I just feel it. I feel it because I feel you completely embodying it and you're authentic. And you speak my soul feels like home with you. You speak my language. And that's how I also approached you, right? Because I was like connecting with you and I thought, I just would love to have you on the podcast and talk about the beautiful things you do. And what I love also is that you bridge the science part with the spiritual part and just bridge it nicely together. Put it into a way that is obviously unique, the way you do it, but also very digestible, understandable, and doable, which I really love because you can be completely out there and cloud nine and talk all this quantum and da da da, but don't embody it, and it's very very like I see that very often, and you can feel it if somebody is completely embodying that. You can absolutely feel that.
Yeah,
And
thank you. I love
yeah,
it.
yeah, thank you also for encouraging everyone to just stay in this void, in the discomfort. And I'm still in the midst of it. Like it's a process right now, just also where I am. And I just like stay there and always be open to it. Okay, guide me, because I feel like that of course there's still some parts of me holding on to things, how things should be or should unfold, which is natural, right? The ego will always be there, but then let it like step away. Don't let it be in the driver's seat, let it be in the passenger seat. Be like, hey, I know you would love to control the whole show here, but there's God and it's greater. And Yeah, I mean, some days are more cruisy. I can flow more. I mean, and other days are just a little bit more challenging. But I also got the hype up from you now again as a confirmation and validation through you being a channel. Okay, Mia, you're doing the right thing. It's you're doing it. Yeah, as uncomfortable as it is, it was definitely not how I planned it, but I just follow it because it got me here so far. Yes,
I
and
have
it's
to
just
say this because this is coming through for a message for all of us, is that it's so important that we are building our energy and light right now, guys. Okay, so I know that being in this crunchy space, this contraction, and all your shit coming up is really hard to deal with. But I want you to understand the things that are coming up right now is what has been projecting from your frequency, from your heart field that has been drawing the clients, the partners, the lack of money, like certain things that you were like, I don't want this anymore. That's why it's coming up, because you have to clear up what was a frequency match to what you no longer want in your life, right? So we have to actually see what's been in our subconscious is now coming to the conscious. So we're not going to radiate that anymore. And this is really powerful for those of us that are channels, energy workers, facilitators, entrepreneurs, empaths, right? Like we're coming in a time where your frequency and God is your marketer. Okay. Like that's going to attract your soul mate tribe. And so we have to get out of our head about the way that we're approaching everything. And yes, the practical strategic steps, they're so important. I mean, you have to have the anchors, you have to have the systems for people to pay you, right? But what good is it if you're not really attracting the people you want? So let's thank this accelerated eclipse season and everything else that we've been going through. It's the massive clearing that we needed to shake it out of our system so we could actually be where we want to be next. Okay. And so the more that we stay together and we come together and we support each other, and I believe we pray and we build community and we build our lights and our energy, the stronger we will be to be able to hold more, because we've cleared the junk out of our cup, right? We've like cleared it out. We like took out all the like funky stuff and we dumped it out, and we're like, okay, now fill the cup up with this beautiful crystalline clear water or honey nectar, right? That is just so nourishing. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We're filtering it out.
amen to that. Amen, amen, amen. I love that. It was so powerful. And I mean, wow, beautiful. I would love to ask so many more questions and talk to you all night long, but I also know we have a
Yes.
limited time. And
Yeah.
that was definitely, I think it was just beautiful the way it was and is. And I will go into the lightning round with you. And I know you shared already like a little bit about your programs. You can do that after as well, and then where people can find you, talk a bit about that. And we already know we get the coupon 25%. Woo,
I know. I'm
woo.
so excited
Yay!
for you guys. Yeah.
Me too, me too. And yeah, is there anything right now that came to that you feel like you want to say before the lightning round? Anything that comes through that is alive within you?
I feel like just stay anchored in your heart and connect more to trees. I think that the trees are really here to help us root down and stabilize at this time. And I
Mm.
think that people, don't really always pay such attention to how the trees can mirror to us the stability that we need through the storms right now. Yeah.
I love trees.
Mhm.
Beautiful, beautiful. In New Zealand, I used to channel trees, like lean onto them and just channel what they were
Yeah.
saying. Super
Yeah.
powerful practice to do because they have so much wisdom. One
So much.
question that came to me because you mentioned that before, it just came up. You said you work. I know it's probably going on to another tangent, but you said you're working with crits, like you kind of anchor into the earth, working as a
Oh,
crit
yes, yes,
worker.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry, my ex crit workers. I do that too naturally. I always
Crits. I'm like, crits. What are crits? You said grids.
grid a grid workout. Sorry guys, accent. Woo! Because I always say like I'm connecting with Mama Gaia. I'm connecting with the energy grid of things. That's how I travel. I never travel with logic. I just tune in what is aligned with my body. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I get assigned to go to certain places to clear dark and funky energies out of it and to bring an anchor and new light. And so I do that through actually movement and sound. And I actually am a weaver. So I weave a lot of energies through my body and with my hands. And it looks like an expressive dance and song while I'm doing it. And it's been really powerful. So yeah, I've traveled around the world because I've been called to do that. And yeah, that's probably a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, I can tell.
There's been a lot to, okay, so I will say this, guys. Part of what makes my programs and my work and private mentorship so transformative is I am a master alchemist in that I am really good at transmuting heavy and dark energies and spotting it and entity attachments. And, we don't normally talk about a lot of this stuff because people don't want to hear it, but those things play interference in your life and in your bloodline. So all my programs have the frequencies in that to remove that interference and stuff. And that's why so many people get big results, because it's what I was designed for. And it wasn't an easy journey learning how to do that, because I had to go through my own experiences to learn actually how to do that in a safe way. Yeah.
I just got a massive download, but I will tell you about that after. Crazy, because I can relate to so many things. No, I'll talk to you after about that. But anyways, just massive, like wow. Okay. Anyways, we are going into a lightning round, and I always love this one. Yeah. So just do whatever comes through. It's fun. So the listeners get to know another part of Nicole. Yeah. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Amazing. So what do you do when nobody's watching?
Play a lot of music, dance, make creature sounds, and act like a wild animal with my husband.
Ooh, love this.
Yeah, okay, there is a freak side of me. I'm a little weird.
Good. Yeah, now I can tell. Bring
Yeah.
out the freak. I love it.
Yeah.
What is something completely embarrassing about you that people wouldn't expect?
I like to dance in front of the mirror and act like sexy. Like, I don't know. Like I put on like little outfits and I dance in front of the mirror sometimes.
For yourself or also
Yeah,
for
for
the
myself.
entertainment?
For myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like my own entertainment to like tap into more of my sexual, sensual energy.
I love it. It's super powerful to do that. I love that too, to dance in front of the mirror. I don't have many outfits, but I also do commando,
Yeah, they're not like really anything. It's just more of like to enjoy and appreciate my body, especially if I was feeling hard on it, then I'm definitely gonna do that in front of the mirror and give myself more love.
That's beautiful. It's powerful. We all should do that.
Yeah.
Totally
Look,
watch.
bringing out, there's like these lightning questions are bringing out the.
And okay, let's go. If you had a superpower, what would it be and why would you choose that?
Gosh, I think it would be like to just like freeze time sometimes and just to, I don't know. I just like just to freeze time for a second and be the only one walking around and then it just being quiet for a second. I don't know. That's just what came through. You said do it at lightning speed. It was either
I
that
love
or fly. But then I was like, no, imagine if I could snap and just like freeze everything for a moment. Then
I love that. Nobody ever answered that.
I could find out like what people were doing. Like,
Yeah, you're like, you were saying that, but no. I love it. Nobody had never had
writing in this document over here.
Yeah, what is she doing? I never had this answer, and I love it. And you know what came to me when you said that? It's almost like even freezing the moment because it's such a beautiful moment that you have.
That too. Yeah, I don't
Maybe.
know. Something like just to be able to freeze a moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that because oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And what is one small everyday thing that brings you joy?
Singing. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Singing.
And if your relationship, no, not your life had a theme song, what would it be?
Eye of the Tiger. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Of course, I used to box. Yeah, it was one of my favorite songs, when I was a boxer, just of course brings up this. I love Rocky movies. Yeah, love it. And then it just always gets me up. I just can't watch it because then I want to train. Then I want to go and be like, yeah, let's go train. Like, and I still try to unconditional few things there. Anyways, the last question is, because my show is called DinsTalk, stands for Do It Never Stop, honoring my lineage, my name that I got given in this lifetime. So what is one thing that you would recommend, or you do, and you do never do it, never stop? What is the one thing?
I am never going to stop speaking my truth and doing what God wants me to do. Never, ever, ever, ever. Every day, every single day. It's how I live, it's how I operate, and that's how I want my clients, my family, my kids, and everyone that I come into contact with to live.
Powerful. Felt that. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. So now, beautiful. So, where can people find you, work with you? And of course, I will put everything in the description box below. But yeah, it's your time now to shine and
Okay.
tell.
So you can find me on Instagram at Naya, Naya, Naya Mantilla, but it's spelled Mantilla, and NicoleMantilla.com. You can also, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram more than I am on Facebook or TikTok or any of those places. But guys, I got to tell you, the 22-day wealth portal, I'm doing it now. I created it a year and a half ago. And Mia asked me before we started this, how are you doing with the energies? I'm like, I'm thriving in these energies right now because I'm in my 22-day wealth portal and it's anchoring me and it's rooting me down every day to build wealth from the inside out, from more of a solid framework, the solid foundations we were talking about. So I would say totally jump into that. And I'm going to give you guys 25% off for being here and watching this. Then the next step, I would totally get both of these to start. The 7-day Build Your Brand Blueprint Accelerator. That doesn't even matter if you already have a brand or if you don't know what you're doing, but you know you're here on mission. This is where you get clear on what you're meant to build right now from this iteration of you. And we do so much excavating in that. It's just so powerful. So those two places are the best way to start. I do have a 12-month hybrid mastermind ecosystem called the Hive. You're welcome to apply to that. And I do take private mentorship. You can go to my website and apply for that. That is application only. And it requires to work with me for at least a month. I don't do one-to-one sessions. I believe in long-term transformation or working with me just in an accelerated capacity because I like intimacy, I like depth, and I like to get to know you and be part of your life and help you build what you came here to build. So yeah, that's how you can find me.
I love that. It's powerful. Thank you so much, beautiful soul. Thank you so much for sharing your energy. It was so powerful, amazing,
It's
and
so much fun.
wow. Yeah, it was fun and so much happening. And guys, I hope you felt that as deeply as I did. And I also hope that you really, really took away so, so much. Please share this and share in the comments below if anything was coming up for you, something you want to know. You can also DM us, of course, like and we will be happy to answer any question. And once again, thank you so much for being here and
Thank you,
love,
Mia. Thank you, everyone. I'm sending you all so much love. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
love you.